Hi guys, I'm going to be doing another random make it for yourself for your planner type DIY video today. I've got a new tripod, so let's see if this works. It's propped up so that it's a bit taller to see my desk, so I'm hoping that this is a better view for you, kind of like you're seeing over my shoulder, rather than you seeing what I'm doing but upside down with the old tripod. This is my messy desk. I've got random stuff on it, leather belts, because I'm going to be making my dog some new collars and that sort of stuff. So the video that we're doing today is how to add paper into a wire-bound notebook or planner. This is my So Typical Me planner, which I did a video on a few weeks ago, and as you can see, I've been just stuffing bits of paper in here. So not only the sort of papers that I need to have with me, like things that I've got to reference, give to people, or do something with, like bank statements and letters and stuff like that, but also note paper. And this is more, well, I guess it could be used for both, but I'm going to be using this hack, this DIY, for adding note paper to this planner. And of course you can use it for any wire bound, spiral bound, or even maybe like a Filofax ring binder type thing. So I wanted to just briefly talk to you about these sort of spiral bound notebooks. So I'll find just a blank page. So you can see the holes there. These are punched by a machine, and they are a specific measurement. So they are square holes set a certain distance apart, punched very cleanly by a machine. If you grab another spiral bound notebook, which I don't have to hand, but I hope you know what I mean, the hole distancing might be different. So the actual wire or spiral bound binding thing here might be different. So therefore the punches that punch these, although this was made by an industrial one, might be different between different brands or different notebooks within a certain brand. So when I was thinking that I would love to be able to add pages to my planner, unless I have the same punch machine that So Typical Me uses, I can't do it. I tried to see if I could get my arc punch to punch the same distance holes, and I can't. I tried to see if I could punch with my little individual hole punch, and I can't. So this is some of my experiments here, and I just can't do it. I can't get my arc punch to be anything similar to the punching holes that they've got in there. I researched the We Are Memory Keeper's cinch machine, and while that looks amazing, I don't want to have to pay out £80+ for a machine that I'm probably not going to be using very often and can't guarantee has the hole spacing of this one. So I did some more research and I found this little punch here. So I'm going to talk to you about that in a minute, but just to let you know, the reason why I wanted a punch is if you've ever spliced the holes of a Filofax page. So by splicing, I mean when you take a hole, like you have in a piece of Filofax paper, and you just cut up to the edge of the page, so that instead of having to open up the ring binding mechanism, you just push it onto the rings. So it's literally taking it and just snipping like that, and it doesn't take a second because there's only 6 holes in a A5 Filofax, and I wanted to do something like that, but obviously unless I've got the same hole punch that the So Typical Me planner uses, I can't do that. So then I had seen some adverts on Facebook for company, I think the company or the product that they sell is called Clipmatic. It's basically, I think it's similar to a kind of, if I grab one out of my box here, a post-it, well not post-it brand, but post-it type tab that you can stick as a kind of divider tab onto your page, where it's got this clear plastic that is sticky, and it stays sticky until it gets some fluff on it, or maybe until you've used it a certain number of times, like maybe 100 times or 50 times or something, and then it becomes not sticky, and then it basically doesn't work. I think it's the same sort of material. I think it's got this unstickable and restickable tacky glue that doesn't leave a residue on your fingers. And what they'd done is they'd got this sticky area on this large square piece and this hook, and the hook goes onto the one of the bits of your wire ring binding mechanism, or whatever it's called, the wire spiral bindy comb thing, and you put one like that and you stick your page to it, and you put another one at the bottom of the page and you stick your page to it, and you can then add and take out paper from your ring binder, from your wire bound notebook. I tried to make my own. As you can see, I tried to make it out of card, and it's just going to bend and break. And then I thought about making it out of plastic, and then I thought that's a lot of hassle when I could have bought some online, but I'm reluctant to buy them online because I want to save money. They're £7.50 per pack. You get free shipping on 2 packs, which is fine, which means you get more, but more actual hooks to be able to hook your pages in. But then it costs £15 for 2 packs to be able to hook 50 pages into your planner, when I have various tools in my craft room that I might be able to make my own thing. So now that I have got my little hole punch, which is a KW Trio 6 hole punch, I don't know if you can see there, it's got 6 punches, then I can cut my own paper that's very similar to the spiral bound paper. So I tested it, and this is what I came up with. Let me grab a piece of paper and we'll do some punching. It's going to be mid-air punching, so I hope this looks okay on camera. So you've got this line here, and you line it up. Make sure it's flat against the back wall of the planner, or else the holes are the wrong distance away from the edge. I think this is going to not go very well in midair, but I'll just show you just to demonstrate. So there's a row of punches, 6 punches. And then what you do is you get this little red one, this little red bubble thing, and you line it up with the last but one hole. And then you push your paper in and you punch more holes. And you continue to do that. And it's actually quite simple, and it does 5 pages at a time. And so if you were making your own wire bound planner or notebook, it might take you an hour or so, but it shouldn't take you too long. And actually for the last one, because you want to replicate this gap from the end so that it's not too weak at the end, I'm not going to line it up as it recommends. I'm going to line it up against this last A5 line at the back here. If you want me to do another video demonstrating this properly, let me know. So there is my page. Now I could make my own spiral notebook if I bought the right wire binding or comb binding thing here, which they do sell. So I might do that, and that is one of the reasons why I bought this, to make my own notebooks. But when I lined it up against these holes, they don't match, unfortunately. But actually, 3 pairs of holes do match. So I held it up against the book and I made a note of which holes do match perfectly, and then the rest don't match. So I cut away where the holes don't match, and then I spliced the holes there to try to add this as a note page in my planner, but it was too weak. Now if you used an arc notebook, it's the same idea. You push the pages, the bits in between the holes, in onto the discs. Doing that on here, as you can see, the gaps are less wide, and the paper, if it's not very thick, it just gets quite damaged. So that wasn't going to work. So I tried to modify it to make it work, and it didn't work. But then I thought that I could probably use the idea of the plastic type clipmatic hook concept, that sort of plastic, and make my own stick-on. Oops, I hit the tripod. Sorry, stick-on. Not hooks, but like the clipmatic, but more like the spliced little sticky out tabby things there, that I can then stick onto the page with some washi tape. So that's what I did, and I want to show you the finished product, and then I want to show you how I did it. So I should have left this open. I've got the page somewhere in October. I might have just put it somewhere random, actually. Here. So there's a piece of paper with the, can you see that shiny bit of plastic there by my thumb, with these spliced tabby things stuck on with washi tape, and they work really well, actually. I mean, I've not really tested them a lot, but I wanted to show you how I made them, and then I might give you an update if I find that they're not working, and then maybe by that time I will have invented something different. So let's show you them as the actual final thing. I'm not selling them, they're not a product. It's just a piece of acetate, hole punched by the punch, spliced to the edge, and then stuck in with a washi tape strip. And because only 2 of the holes line up with the other holes, it's just 2 holes wide. So I'm going to show you how I made it. Here's a piece of acetate from a Filofax original, and this is why I never get rid of anything, because that sort of thing is useful. I'm not going to throw that away. That is good acetate. I might make something in future out of thicker plastic, but you also don't want it to be too thick, because you need it to be able to bend to fit in with the wire binding. So I actually punched this without cutting it first, and I think I'll do the same this time. So all I'm going to do is, I'm not going to bother lining it up with the edge ruler thing, because I'm going to trim it anyway. I'm just going to take my hole punch and punch the plastic. Okay, now you've got the holes there. I'm just going to cut around it roughly, and I'm going to cut a couple of centimetres to 1 inch deep. I'll do that off camera so I can see it properly. I have dropped it on the floor and it's clear. Oh no. Plastic, come here. Oh my god. I think I might have to make another one and then use that one later. Let's do that again. Which bit did I use? There. Let's do it again. I won't drop it this time, hopefully. You do have to watch that the red marker things don't get in the way of you lining up your paper. Right, let's actually cut this over the desk. And in future, I will do this with a ruler, so I can see if it's straight. Okay, so I've got my little piece of plastic with the 6 holes in it now. So what I'm going to do is I am going to first trim it so that it is, the gap between the hole and the edge isn't as wide, because I found that it was hard to cut the a bit harder to turn the pages because it got in the way of the other pages in there. Now, as I said, I'm not doing this with a ruler, and I should be really, but that's for a future thing. Right, and because each tabby thing needs to be 2 wide, I'm going to cut halfway between the 2nd and 3rd hole, and then halfway between the 4th and 5th hole. Lovely. So I've got one there. I don't know if you can see that because my camera doesn't want to focus. I think it's because it's so clear. It's struggling. And then I'm going to splice between the hole and the edge. And there you've got a tab. That was easy. Trying to get my camera to focus on an invisible thing. So there you go. I'm going to do that with the second one because obviously you need 2. I'm just trimming off the excess from the edge of the plastic from the 2 edge ones. And I've got a second one. Okay, so let's get a piece of paper. Let's just use a different one. And so now, because I want to make sure it lines up properly with the notebook, I'm going to put the tabs on the notebook, whole wire comey thing, and I'm not going to put them too far towards the top because I want the washi tape to be able to have a bit more length. So I'm going to put them on like the 3rd and 4th. I'm using Filofax terminology here, like ring thing. And I'm not going to push them too hard to get onto the ring things, onto the wires, because it will bend the plastic. But if you can't get them on there, just try twisting it a little bit or something. Okay, and then I'm going to flip them over to the other side because I want them to be on the back of my page. I'm going to put my page down and I'm going to line it up so that it's a bit clear of the wires. And I'm going to turn... No, that was it. I remember now. If you want them on the back of your page, you put the page on the left side and then you flip them over onto that side. That makes sense. So line your page up. I'm going to grab some washi tape. My favourite brand is MT because it's very strong. And I use them more for functional purposes than for decorative purposes, so I need my washi tape to be strong. And then I'm going to flip the, I think it's come out slightly, there we go, the little holy tab thing over to what is now the back of the page. And I'm just going to get some washi tape and stick it on. line it up. I think a good guide is to see where the pages that are in the actual existing notebook sit. How far are they sit away from the edge of the wires. There. I think that's okay. Ah, done. Let's have a tug test. That sounds rude. Let's have a there we are. There's the first problem. If you don't stick it down hard enough, the tabby thing might move. Line it up again. I think one of the things that you've got to make sure is that you don't have the paper sit over the holes. Leave the holes clear. Okay, let's try that again. I think that's quite good. It's not falling off, and yet it can come out and move. Ah, it worked. I'm quite impressed. And then, so if you just have some acetate from packaging and you have a hole punch, not necessarily even like this one, but if you take a single hole punch, this is 6 mils, I think this is the same thickness as these holes, maybe a bit bigger, and just take your paper, just a bit of paper, line it up against the wire mechanism of your notebook and mark where 2 of the holes go, or even 3 of the holes go, for thickness, you know, for more strength, because you're adding a thicker bit of plastic. Then you can make your own. Let's try that now. Have I got time left on my phone memory? I think I have. Right, okay, so we've lined up that. Let's, just to guide us, cut a bit of the acetate. I'm going to stick it on the piece of paper. This is exciting. I love finding cheap solutions, and if you don't actually have to buy the hole punch, although the hole punch is great, and if you want to make your own wire notebooks, then I recommend it. So stick that down. Okay, get your hole punch, line it up. I should have drawn, let's just lift that a bit and draw longer lines. Can you see what I'm doing? Probably not, sorry, this camera angle needs to be revised. Longer lines, right, okay. This is just a guide. You're not actually going to be using this, you know, drawing lines on your actual tabs. Okay, line your hole punch up and make sure your holes are in the middle of where, or the middle of the hole is where that line is. Punch it, punch it. It'd be better if you had a smaller hole punch. Okay, that's good. Let's use that washi tape for the actual sticking it down. This is exciting. Right, trim. And oh, this is something that I would recommend. Splice the holes after you've trimmed the edge, because otherwise you'll have 3 tiny bits of plastic where you've already spliced, or more than 3 if you've got 3 holes. So splice it first and you get 1 big bit of plastic rather than 3 little bits that you've got to hunt for on the floor, so your cat doesn't eat them in my case. Splicing. Look, you've got a 3. 1. And you didn't have to pay £15 for a hole punch. You used the hole punch you've already got. Oh, I'm so happy with that. Oh, wow. That would work too. Well, Yeah, it should work. Yeah, because we lined it, we measured. Let's see if this wants to go on. Right, I need to trim the edges a bit because obviously the gaps between the holes on either side are smaller, so trim that down. I'm not saying don't buy the Clipmatic things. I don't do videos where I say don't buy things unless they're terrible products. I'm sure they're great products. I've not tried them. But if you don't want to spend £15 on something you could make at home, as long as you're not, you know, stealing their patented idea, which you're not, because this is my idea and I tell you, you can use this for your personal use, but don't sell it on Etsy or somewhere. I invented it. There we go. Look, so I can do the same idea with that. And I have spent nothing on it because this was a piece of packaging and I had this hole punch already, and I think most people have got a hole punch at home. So, I'm so proud of that. Right, well, go ahead and use the idea and stick things in your wire bound or spiral bound notebook. Show me what you've done if you've actually made one. If you can, I don't know if you're able to actually share pictures in the comment of a YouTube video, but if you've used it in your planner, then go ahead and I'll have a look. Thanks for watching. Bye.